This was very weird. When the first trailers and the first announcements for Minecraft Legends came out, I had no idea what this game was about. At first, it seemed like it was an action RPG, something like a Minecraft Dungeons, but more like in a third-person view rather than top-down view. Well, it turns out it's not that. It turns out it's an action strategy game. You control your character in a third person, but you also can build different troops to, well, play this as a strategy game. And I absolutely did not expect that. And well, in this video, we're going to be discussing Minecraft Legends and whether it is worth it to buy right now or not. And as always, as every single one of my videos, I'm going to be giving you the answer right away to not waste your time. And the answer is this: yes, Minecraft Legends is worth it, but if you will not buy it. Let me explain what do I mean by that. And by not buying it, I mean that it's worth it if you have it on the Game Pass. Because yeah, despite game being pretty interesting and pretty fun, it's rather simplistic and not very deep. Plus, it seems like it's kind of raw at the moment. And I will explain what I mean by that in a second. Oh, and by the way, our Steam Curator page is already up and running. So if you want to see all of my reviews, videos, and a little bit of text review right there on Steam before you're gonna buy anything, just go and follow us there on Steam so that you will not miss my reviews when you are buying the games. Now back to the video. So what even is Minecraft Legends, like gameplay wise and story wise, and what relation does it have with Minecraft and everything else? Well, Minecraft Legends is an action strategy take on a Minecraft, as Minecraft Dungeons was a Diablo-like take on, well, Minecraft itself. You're playing in a Minecraft world, and weirdly enough, you're playing as a regular character, like your regular Steve or whomever you want to call it. And in this world, the world has been invaded by piglins. These are the nether creatures. They're trying to conquer and destroy everything in their path. And you've been chosen by 3 different entities: knowledge, foresight, and action. And those entities are actually giving you tasks to, well, defeat those piglin invaders. And story-wise, it's actually pretty good. It's good that you have a story and you have a full campaign that you can go through. But how it plays is more important than everything else. In the beginning, those 3 entities will give you different, well, kind of things in order to be control of an armies and be able to defeat the piglins. And first is your flute, which allows you to, well, build different structures and control, I don't remember the name, like some kind of fairy-like creatures that are responsible for building and gathering. You also gain ability to, well, build spawners, which allows you to spawn different types of mobs and control them. And you also gain a flag that will practically allow you to give them commands. And you have these items just more like for the story reasons. It's practically you have an ability to build, you have an ability to spawn mobs, and you have ability to control the mobs. That's basically it. And the world itself is kind of like a giant island, and there are of different biomes on this island, just like it is in Minecraft. You're riding your horse and you are traveling through different biomes to gather resources and fight piglins. And that's what practically the entire gameplay loop is. But of course, it's not all. You also have building, you also have armies and things like that. First things first, let's talk about the resource gathering. You have a bunch of different resources. In the beginning, you start with the wood and with the stone. But as you continue to the game, you also unlock different resources. You also unlock different, well, unlockables or upgrades, which you will place in the center of the map, which allows you to use and gather other resources. And those resources are gathered by these fairy creatures that you have. And in order to gather those resources, all you need to do is just find a resource, build a special gatherer, and those fairies will practically collect the resources for you. So the resource gathering is not manual, and you are putting appropriate gatherer for the different type of materials. You also can gather materials from the villages, because there are a few different villages on this island, and when you save them and when you help them, they spawn a special chest in the middle of their village, which will have different type of resources. Plus, you can actually harvest additional resources by building different buildings in those villages. And your overall goal is kind of like protect these villages from the piglin invaders. But how you will fight those piglins? Well, just like you unlock different resources, you also unlock different type of mobs by playing the game, or rather by progressing through the story. And if you want a specific creature, you're practically putting down a spawner and just, well, building those mobs. Mind that you have a limited number of mobs you can have at the same time. In the beginning, it's 20, but you can increase it as the game will continue, and as you will put more and more upgrades. And you can give different commands to these mobs. You can either ask them to follow you, or you can send them to different directions to, well, perform the actions, where it will be just going that way or attacking enemies there. But you don't just control a zerg of enemies. You also have an ability to choose specific units to send for the specific tasks, and each unit have its own advantages and disadvantages. Like for example, the beginner 2 units that you have, the stone golems and archers. Well, stone golems are actually very good against, well, buildings, while archers are range units and they're actually good against the infantry of an enemy. And the same goes to every other mob. Granted, there are not a lot of different units, but there are enough for the variety. And what you do is you travel around the world, gather the resources, go and find those piglin bases and destroy them. But where game gets actually interesting is through its day-night cycle. Well, you see, during the night, piglins are actually stronger and they're more aggressive, so it will become a bit more difficult to fight them. But what also happens is that there are a bunch of different regular mobs in the world, like your zombies, your skeletons, your creepers, and they are actually not attacking you, and you can actually recruit them. All you need to do is just have a spare place in your army, and when you go there, you just can use your flag to just give them a command of collect, and they will just follow you, and you can just send them for the, well, regular attacks. And this is much more important while you are attacking portals. Portals are these larger bases of piglins. They are far more fortified with lava pools, with walls, with archer towers, and your overall goal is to destroy the portal in the middle. And there are also a bunch of different stronger mobs there. And what you can do with this is you can actually gather your troops, send them to attack on one spot, then go around the map, gather the regular mobs and attack them from the different side. And you can send bunch of troops into different types of coordinated attacks, which makes it very interesting. But is it all fun? Well, it is, but there are of course some downsides. Probably the biggest downside is a bunch of walking around. You are traveling through this world over and over and over again, and yeah, you are traveling from one part of the map to the second one, then to the one, then to the second one. Yes, you have a fast travel abilities as well, but you will still need to do a lot of traveling, and it might be a bit frustrating for some. It wasn't for me, because the game actually encourages you to explore, because there are a bunch of different secrets in the world. There are a bunch of different chests, and there are a bunch of different ancient golems that if you will reawaken them, they are very powerful units that can help you to fight the enemies, especially the more tougher enemies. So does it mean that this game is great? Well, maybe, but not for everyone. You see, if you are expecting very deep type of action strategy game, you won't be seeing that. This is more like a childish take on this action strategy genre. Just like Minecraft Dungeons was a childish and kids take on the, well, Diablo-like games. It's not very deep, there are not a bunch of different units, and well, it's also not very simple as well. So it's kind of like in the middle. If you're expecting something very deep and something like very cool, something that will take hours and hours and hours and maybe hundreds of hours of your life, well, the game can actually take hundreds of hours of your life is in a PvP, because PvP is kind of like a condensed version of the regular campaign where you play against other players instead of piglins, and where you unlock different type of technologies a bit quicker. And yes, I forgot, there are also building. You can build the different buildings like an archer towers, walls, and things like that to will protect the villages and to will have kind of like your bases as well. What I also saw that was a bit more disappointing, kind of, but not really, was the lack of content. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Minecraft Dungeons has a bunch of different additional content, and it has been expanded quite a lot. But in the beginning, it was much more dry experience. Well, Minecraft Legends right now is a dry experience. Granted, it's far better than Minecraft Dungeon was. But if this game will get as much upgrades and as much additional content as Minecraft Dungeons did, well, we are in for a treat. Or at least right now, they're promising monthly adventures. This probably will be an additional type of content, an additional type of campaign type of content. And even though it's not right now, it seems like there will be some type of battle pass available in the future, because you can already buy an in-game currency for the real money. But okay, all is good, all is great. How much game actually will cost you? Game is available on Steam, on Xbox, and on Microsoft Store for the base price of $39.99 for both Tier 1 and Tier 2 countries. Game is also available day one on the Game Pass, and if you want it and if you want to play it, that's how you should play it. Yes, $39.99 is maybe not the full price, but it's still far too expensive for the game that is not, well, kind of like a complete just yet. Don't get me wrong, game runs pretty well. Even though I experienced a little bit of bugs, it was running quite smoothly, and I don't think that you're gonna have any issues with the game. But still, if you're playing this outside of a Game Pass, I would not suggest you to get it just yet. However, if you are a Minecraft fan, you are going to enjoy this, even though you should expect that this is not a full large-scale game. This is more like a kids or Minecrafty take on an action strategy genre, which is not very deep, but deep enough to keep you engaged and teach you to play the game very quickly. But probably PvP will keep this game alive for much longer. So yeah, that's that. Well, this is me for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.